Let's go. All right. I'm Max Kellerman. Welcome to This Just In, a fast hour around the world of sports. And how I and some of my friends see it. That's Super Bowl champ Rob Ninkovich. That's NFL insider Dan Graziano. Sam Acho also joins us in just a moment. And we start with Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. What a roller coaster ride it's been. Green Bay started off the year 3-1. 3 straight wins over the Bears, Tom Brady and the Bucs, and then Bill Belichick and the Patriots after their season-opening loss to the Vikings. But then they lost 5 straight, held to under 20 points in 3 of those games. Tied the Packers' longest losing streak with Aaron Rodgers under center ever. Then last week, Green Bay trailed by 14 points heading into the fourth quarter. Dallas was previously 195-0 in team history when leading by 2 touchdowns after 3. Well, until Rodgers and Christian Watson happened. Look at Rob Demoski braving the weather. Now, that's a reporter right there. Rob, ESPN Packers reporter, of course, from Lambeau Field. Christian Watson, with over 100 yards receiving and 3 scores against Dallas last week. He didn't do that any of the times I used him in daily fantasy, but he chooses last week to do it. What should we expect for an encore tonight?
Well, Max, they hope some more backflips. And what does that mean? Well, that was his celebration after his first touchdown. He did a backflip in the end zone. It scared the heck out of the Packers coaches. But offensive coordinator Adam Stenavich said this week he can do all the backflips he wants now because that means he's gotten into the end zone. Now, here's a guy, Max, his confidence had been shaken. And why wouldn't it be? He missed all of training camp with a knee injury. He had that terrible, terrible drop in Minnesota week 1. Then he had a hamstring injury. Then he had a concussion. Then he comes back on Sunday, drops 2 more passes right in the opening series before he finally gets his feet under him. And he told us this week that the guys around him, the other receivers in the room, did a great job of building up his confidence, and that allowed him to get to where he is now.
Yeah, and listen, he's a guy who looks to have a very high ceiling. We know Aaron Rodgers is dealing with a sore thumb. What can you tell us about how the injury is affecting the 4-time MVP?
Yeah, I asked Rodgers this week if he's going to have to tape the thumb the rest of the year, and he said at least until the bye week. And this week's mini bye this weekend does not count. He said he needs a full 7 days off in order to get that thumb right. And the problem for him is not necessarily throwing the ball. It's when he's under center. Max, he said that's when it hurts him the most. But get this, the Packers ran more snaps under center last week than they did out of shotgun for the first time all year. And that allowed them to get to their play action stuff. And that's why Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon were so effective. So despite the thumb injury, look for him to be under center a little bit more.
Thank you, Rob. Appreciate it. According to ESPN Analytics, the Packers have the 5th easiest remaining schedule in the NFL and are still not out of the playoff hunt. They're a few games behind the 49ers and Commanders right now for the final postseason spot in the NFC. And as promised, Sam Acho now joins us. I mean, first of all, guys, let me tell you something. And I brought this up earlier on the radio today, and I understand that they were talking about it on First Take a little bit later, but I've been thinking a lot about the way things work and the way the football gods who have a good sense of humor work. And I remember not long ago, Dallas, every year of Dak's career, it only just seems now, well, this year is different. Every year feels like he's on the best team he's ever been on. And the Eagles had injuries and everything. That was the year the Eagles won the Super Bowl. They went 8-8 with a healthy Dak, didn't make the playoffs, right? But you know who makes the playoffs every single year? Aaron Rodgers. He makes them. So as I'm thinking about, is it going to be the Giants or the Seahawks who fall off? Because I believe in the Niners. It occurs to me, I think we're going to be looking back at that game against Dallas, and we're going to say, hey, remember when they came back against Dallas down 14?
Oh, goodness.
I think they're going to nab the Cowboys, who are in 3rd place in the NFC East. Because let me tell you something. Packers are nabbing someone. Nico, you buying what I'm selling?
No, I'm not buying what you're selling right now. Listen, the Green Bay Packers, they had a great game plan against the Cowboys. What did the Cowboys do? They let up a ton of yardage on the ground. The Cowboys need to stop the run if they want to go anywhere as well. So you look at the Packers and what they're able to do. They've struggled in multiple areas. They've had a good game. Okay, now they're on a short week at home against the Titans, who are injured. So I want to see tonight, how do they respond? I need more of a sample size. If it's 2 games, okay, I'll start to buy it. Like maybe they flip the switch. Maybe they're going in the right direction. But until I see it tonight, I'm not ready to say that.
Cross, I don't know. The rookie was like, they have to time it, kind of like the Golden State Warriors, right? Like, are the young guys going to be good enough so we never have to rebuild? We can kind of just keep this thing rolling. And they draft some talented receivers in there, but I don't know. The receiver, what has to happen for the Packers to turn the thing around?
I think the young receiver Watson has to continue to do what he did against the Cowboys, which is catch the ball and stay healthy. They've been his two biggest problems. If he does that, right, the Packers coaches think this gives them multiple extra ways they can attack defenses because he can stretch the field deep. Now defenses have to respect that. Now we can run the ball a little better. Now we can hit that underneath stuff to Randall Cobb and Allen Lazard. It changes a lot of things for them. And remember, this was always the plan. This was the 34th overall pick in the draft. He was supposed to have an instant impact. As you heard from Domofsky, a number of roadblocks in his path, but he ideally, from their standpoint, is past them now.
Yeah, I don't know how you felt. When they drafted Christian Watson, I thought, watch him wind up being somehow the best receiver. He's one of those second-round picks that the Packers
Always
make, and the guy winds up one of the best receivers in football, right? Sacho, do you see the Packers becoming Super Bowl contenders as this season progresses?
Super Bowl contenders is strong, but unlike Ninko, I'm going to say that they are in the playoff hunt for sure. I don't need to wait until after this game. I think they're going to win this game, but more so it's because we talked about it. Christian Watson is finding his stride and finding his confidence. They talked about in the game how they designed plays for him, and some of that catch you saw, that first catch we saw, he dropped that earlier in the season. He had been dealing with injuries, with drops. All of a sudden, he had what, 8 catches coming into the game, 10 catches. He had 4 in the game against the Cowboys, 3 touchdowns. And so I think he's turning the corner. I think Aaron Rodgers is obviously counting on him more. So I think the Packers are definitely going to pass up one of these other teams and make it in that final playoff spot, whether it's Seattle or what have you.
It's so funny when you look at a schedule for a team, whether you think it's tough or easy. Depends so much on what you think about the team, right? Like a couple of weeks ago, if you looked at the Packers' schedule, you go, that's a loss, that's a loss. Now you go, none of these are unwinnable games.
Yes.
The Eagles, I can easily beat the Eagles, right?
Yes.
It feels a lot different. And look, here's the strength. Here's the schedule. According to FPI, they should beat the Titans tonight. FPI doesn't like them to win on the road against the Eagles. I don't know. They should beat the Bears. They're heavy favorites against the Rams. It's just the 2 road games at 2 elite teams, Eagles and Dolphins, that they're not favored to win. And the Vikings like a 50-50, about 49% same thing.
And they're going to come out of that Week 14 bye and have 3 of their last 4 games at home. Lambeau Field in December.
A little chilly. Be a little chilly there.
I mean,
I've been there in December. It's not easy.
People want to find out about Kirk Cousins, right? Okay, here's Aaron Rodgers at Lambeau chasing a playoff spot. What you got? Man, the NFL gives you
a lot of season left.
Thrills and chills. All right.
Out of middle of the road.
If the question is football, the answer for me is Patrick Mahomes, the MVP front runner at this point. I think that's fair to say, is having arguably the best season of his Hall of Fame career. Because if he retired today, he's in the Hall of Fame, guys. You waive any kind of minimum years you need. Already leads the league in yards and TD passes, even without Tyreek Hill. He was asked yesterday about the team's mentality without the now Dolphins star.
It's bigger than one player. It's bigger than myself. And so what can we do to improve ourselves, to give ourselves the best chance to win? And we understand how great Tyreek is. And I think people see that now in Miami even more than they saw it here. How special of a player that he is. But in this offense, it's about everybody. How can we make each other better?
Patrick Mahomes is already the best quarterback who ever lived. He's not the greatest. That's Tom Brady. Doesn't have the resume. He's better than anyone who ever lived at the position. Look, guys, if you combine the greatest individual performance numbers-wise to start a career through 5 years, let's say, it does not stack up with Mahomes. But let's say it's in the ballpark. Then you have to also look at team success. He's having Tom Brady-level team success. He's been in the league 4 years, been to 2 Super Bowls already, has won an MVP, won a Super Bowl MVP, has hosted the conference championship every single season that he's started. That's Tom Brady-level career success to start. And it's Dan Marino plus career success or individual success. And here's the difference between him and everyone else. Take Devontae Adams away from Aaron Rodgers, doesn't look the same. Give Tua Tyreek Hill, looks better, looks different. Give Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, looks different. Take Jamar Chase away from Joe Burrow, looks different, right? When you gave it to him, oh my God. Every single quarterback in the league seems very dependent on the alpha receiver, except Patrick Mahomes. You take Tyreek Hill away, same guy.
I mean, except Tom Brady was where? In a stable environment with what? A really good head coach.
No doubt.
So, I mean, Patrick Mahomes, yes, terrific football player. One of the best, of course. But Andy Reid, it's like a perfect combination of coaching, offensive scheme, skill sets, Kelsey, everything that the Kansas City Chiefs have offensively in the last 5-6 years of success is a great perfect storm in a combination of coaching, players, and Patrick Mahomes. Similar to the Patriots, though.
Yeah, of course. The greatest ever is always going to have a very favorable environment, right? Or you might not find out he's the greatest
exactly. So a lot has to happen. But don't underrate, not that you were, don't underrate the character of the young man, Mahomes. Like, this is a guy that he loses Tyreek Hill. Okay, what are we going to do? We're going to bring in this guy, this guy, this guy. But a lot is going to be on you, Patrick. And he embraced it. And he went around and threw with these guys in the offseason, had them over to his house. I talked to him in training camp, and that's not what I mean. I'm talking about positive things. So I talked to him in training camp, Mahomes, and he talked about how he had to develop. He had to take another step in his career. He's delivered on all of that, and it's impressive to see, because you're right. A guy who's accomplished what he's already accomplished could rest on that, and he chose not to.
$500 million contract?
That's a team-friendly deal because it's Mahomes, by the way. But here's what it's going to come down to from Mahomes this year, guys. Not the regular season, he'll win MVP, all this stuff. In the high-leverage moments in the playoffs, where he's always gotten to the AFC Championship game at least, now there's no Tyreek Hill there.
Right.
Now what are you going to do? Because all these different pieces can make up for it in the regular season, but in those moments where you need an unanswerable guy, what's he going to do then? Because if he does it then without Tyreek Hill, the conversation's over. All right, after his